Good evening, Drew.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Man, I would love it if just once in my life I didn't have crushing anxiety and stress.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna get into it, buddy.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into my problems. But follow up from last show. What'd you buy?
Uh. Well, of course, I ordered my wife a Sierra Blue iPhone 13 Pro Max, and ordered myself a Sierra Blue iPhone 13 Pro.
All right.
Both will be here tomorrow, so I'm excited.
Tomorrow. Wow,
Tomorrow.
that's fast.
Tomorrow.
I can't wait to see what you think.
Me too. I can't wait to see what I do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna move this next one down a minute. I thought maybe you had bought other Apple things. Did you buy anything else?
That's it. That's all I bought. Did you?
Okay.
Did you order
No.
anything? No.
No. For reasons that'll become apparent very
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Yep.
Um,
Oh.
but the other Apple bit of related news is it seems you and I both got the latest Safari update on the desktop. It's real bad.
It's real bad.
Do you want to know what my biggest problem with it is? So I have my system theme set to dark mode,
Okay.
and I usually try to maintain different settings per application. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like super gay and super horny for dark mode. Like, it just, some people are like, oh, your IDE doesn't have dark mode. Are you even alive? Like, I'm not that person. But I like the control of being able to set certain apps in light and dark mode. To wit, I use two web browsers every day. I have Safari open, and that's daddy's browser. Like, that is the browser that I use for personal stuff on my work computer.
Okay.
And then I have Microsoft Edge. That's my work. That's daddy's work browser. And
I do the same thing.
yeah, okay. And prior to this Safari update, I loved it because I felt like I had control over light and dark mode, because I like setting my one browser dark mode, one browser light mode, so I don't get them confused in a hurry and accidentally share the wrong screen. No, seriously, that's a legit reason. One thing I have noticed with the Safari update is dark mode on that browser is extra dark now.
I don't use dark mode on the Mac. I don't think it looks good. Okay, first of all, I turned off, I went into the new preferences and I turned the tab layout to separate instead of compact. I turned off show color and tab bar.
Yeah, I did both of those things.
I turned off all the things that make it look just as much as the old Safari as I could. What bothers me is the tabs. The tab for okay, two things. First of all, the tabs don't look like tabs.
Nope.
They look like buttons.
Disembodied rectangles.
Yeah, like little slightly darker gray boxes on top of a really light gray, almost white background.
Yep.
The selected one shows up in like a darker gray.
Mm-hmm.
And my brain has been trained over all of,
Lighter.
like decades that darker means inactive. Like,
right.
This is not the one that is selected. So, like, my brain's like, oh, I need to go to this tab, and it's already selected, and I click on it, and nothing happens, and I'm like, oh, it's not good. And I really didn't think we were going to get the new Safari, because I've seen this on the iPad. It's also bad on the iPad in the same ways. For some reason, it doesn't bother me as much here. But I really didn't think we would be getting the new Safari on what are we on now? Big Sur. I thought that was going to be like a Monterey thing, and I'm like, well, I can live with the old Safari for a few months until they ship that.
Yeah.
Nope. It's bad. It makes me sad.
Yeah, it's not good. It has sort of nudged me more over towards Microsoft Edge, which has become, honestly, it's a pretty good browser. Like, Edge is a pretty good browser. Like, Safari is always going to be part of macOS, and I think Safari, up until this update, was pretty good. But yeah, it's real bad, man, and it makes me really sad because it was fine. Like I don't know why they felt change for change's sake is what that needed. And like Apple was known as a design company.
Exactly.
Yep. And I don't understand how that was better than what they had. Like the tabs were very clearly tabs. They were in a logical place. They didn't displace anything else, right? Because now with the certain tabs, like they displace like your search bar or your address bar.
Yeah.
And like they collapse the icons unless you turn that off. And apparently you also cannot set Safari to have a different theme than your system color theme. I thought you used to be able to do that.
I've never gone to look to see if that was possible. So
yeah, because when I saw how dark mode was until I found that no color in the title bar, yeah, it was. You can't. It's married to the theme. That was it. So I'm not especially thrilled about this update, and a lot of people don't appear to be either. And sort of corollarily related to this, when I installed iOS 15, I made it about 30 minutes with my browser thing at the bottom of my phone. Oh, that's not.
I like it at the bottom better. It's easier to reach. Also, you get only when you have it on the bottom, you get this really cool like swipey gesture where you can swipe on the address bar to change change tabs. Sorry, it's for those of you who don't know. Drew just wrote the title into the doc, and
pretty good one. Yeah, you know what? I'm good at this.
I like it on the bottom, but I had to turn off like color and yeah.
And iOS 15 is you know what? I'm just gonna come out and say it. I kind of dig iOS 15 for the weather app alone.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big feature that I forgot. Yeah, it's good. You get you can turn on notifications, so it will say like, "Hey, it's gonna rain for an hour in 15 minutes," which is great if you have dogs who like to go outside to use the bathroom but don't like going outside in the rain. Because you're like, "Oh God, I can take them out right now."
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Everything else is just kind of whatever. Other than the Safari thing on there, and then that it's fine. Like iOS 15 seems pretty good. I haven't really plumbed the depths of everything else that iOS 15 has to offer, but man, that Safari update is so bad. It's so bad. Okay. Yeah, so breaking news from my house.
Okay.
Breaking news about breaking things. So my roof's leaking, which is pretty fun.
Oh no.
Yeah,
that's the one quality of a roof you don't want.
Yeah, it's exactly what a roof is there to prevent, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So normally I wouldn't bring up these woes on the podcast, but it's a little bit of a mystery because when we saw this house, when we were looking for houses and we fell in love with this house, the roof was listed on the listing as being 2 years old. So we've been here 2 months and it has rained really hard quite a few times since we've been here. And the basement hasn't gotten wet. There hasn't been any leaks in the house. Like everything was good. We had some pretty heavy rain. What was that? Yesterday? It was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So we had some pretty heavy rain and some wind. And I was downstairs and it had been raining most of the morning. And I was teaching a class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And we were on a break and I walked upstairs to get a glass of water. And I stepped on the floor in my kitchen and the floor was wet. And I was like, it's near the sink. So like I looked at the sink and I opened the bottom of the sink thinking maybe like, hey, maybe a pipe was loose under there and we washed some dishes or something. And I didn't see any water in the bottom of the sink. And then the dishwasher is sort of the right of the sink. And I looked at the dishwasher and thought maybe, is the water under there? No, the water is definitely in front of the sink. And then I was sort of trying to figure it out. And then I felt the water hit my head. And
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And then I looked up and so the way my house is laid out is a little bit weird. It's a 2-story house. But my kitchen is not underneath the upstairs. It's like it sort of juts out from there. So I ran upstairs thinking, okay, is something leaking upstairs? Like, is there like a leaky window or something up here that this is getting into? And I checked and everything was fine. And then I went back downstairs and like I really looked at the ceiling because the ceiling didn't look wet. Because normally when drywall gets wet, there's like a huge wet spot, and there was nothing wet on my ceiling. I'm like, where the hell is this dripping from? Well, the area that it was leaking from in my kitchen, there's like pieces of wood trim that kind of run in a grid pattern in on the ceiling of my kitchen, and it was like dripping between two pieces of that wood. So anyway, I'm like, well, this is awful. So I put a bucket under it because that's what you do when you have a leaky roof. And
Yep.
I called my realtor and I'm like, hey, my roof's leaking. And then she's like, well, that's not good. So long story short, the people that sold us this house were really nice, and they left us a bunch of information and like device instructions and like stuff that I did at my house. And I'm glad that the people did it here too. They gave us all the documentation on the roof that was put on, and clearly, like, I can look at the invoice and it has, something 2019. Like, it was literally 2 years old. So I called the company and I was like, hey, bought this house. Your company put the roof on it 2 years ago and it's leaking. I'm assuming there's some kind of warranty because 2 years doesn't seem like a long time to have a leaky roof.
No, it does not. Yeah.
And she said, you're correct, but warranties don't transfer. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I had something crazy between my ears. What do you mean warranties don't transfer? You didn't insure, or you didn't warranty the people who bought the roof. You warrantied the roof. Like, what does that even mean? So I had a long conversation with the owner, and he's going to come out and take a look, I think tomorrow, to try to figure out what's going on. Now, here's the thing. Like, okay, the roof leak, that sucks, whatever. I'm probably going to have to like figure out like where on my ceiling it was wet and probably replace some drywall. Again, that's money and or time. I'll deal with it. That's part of home ownership. What's really vexing to me is I just have no idea how that water got in there, because it has rained several times since we've been here. And I would think that if this was like a systemic problem, like it would have manifested sooner. And to my knowledge, the floor has never been wet in the kitchen, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
So unless the wind was blowing in just the right direction, that it somehow got under a shingle. And let me be clear, it wasn't a lot of water. Like, there was a little puddle on the floor, and after I got the bucket under it, like, it dripped for a little bit longer, but then there was barely any water in the bucket. So it wasn't like a massive amount of water. But it's just like, man, I just bring this up because it's like I had a lot of stress at work over the past couple weeks, and things have been like, I've been putting in really long hours and getting up early and going to the gym and working till like 6, 7 o'clock at night. And it's just like, I don't need this right now, man. And like, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I just needed to vent.
Yeah. It's not something you want on a new house.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
Well, new to us. I mean, it's not a new house. I mean, the roof is 2 years old.
Right.
And the people that lived here before us put a lot of time and effort into modernizing it, and we want to keep it nice because I really like this house, and I'm really happy that we got it. It's just one of those things. It's like you don't really plan on dealing with that this early into the ownership experience, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm waiting to see kind of how this shakes out, but I may need a roofer. And if you're listening to the show and you got roofers, like I have a couple numbers of people I can call, but I just want to try to get this resolved. So if you have a good roofer, and you're in the Ohio area, give me some recommendations.
Cool.
Okay. This next story requires a little bit of setup, Paul.
Okay.
So I'm going to need you to buckle up for a minute.
Okay. I'm strapped in.
All right. So Paul, what do you know about 4-H?
4-H. That is an organization that basically, I have my niece and nephew are in 4-H. They get some real life experience, mostly around farm kind of things, agricultural endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my niece and nephew were this year, I think, raising goats to sell at the fair. So they bought baby goats. They feed the baby goats. They had to go around and, like, one of the things they do is they sell it at auction. So they had to go around and say, like, hey, I'm selling my goat at auction. I would sure like for you to bid on my goat, and things like that. Yeah.
So, okay. So
Yeah.
Your definition of 4-H sort of tracks of what my definition of 4-H was. As a kid who sort of grew up in a city like urban environment, like 4-H was not something that was on my radar as a kid. Like I had other pursuits. Now, I didn't live that far from the country, but I lived in a town where there were not farms. Okay, like I did not grow up near a farm. But 4-H is a youth development program, and there's actually several areas for 4-H. Like, again, the one that I think we mostly associated with is agriculture, but they also do STEM. Okay. And they also do like healthy living and like some civic and civil type stuff, right? So they do like community service and stuff like that too. So they do a fair amount of things. Now, the reason I mention this is being that we live in Central Ohio, and yes, you and I live in the greater Columbus area, but you do not have to drive in any direction from the center of Columbus to hit farmland in a hurry.
That is very true. Yes.
Yeah. So outside of the greater Columbus metroplex, this is still a very popular-ish program. I think, it's not as popular as it used to be, but I still think it is a thing. And you're right, it is mostly around agriculture type stuff. But my wife has been involved with a 4-H organization since she was young, and she donates her time to the organization as a judge for the various competitions that 4-H provides.
Oh.
Now, Paul, I want you to just quickly assemble a very, very quick. There's no wrong answer here.
Okay.
There is a wrong. There's a right answer. Let me be clear. There is a right answer, but I want you to very quickly, on the spot, assemble a mental Rolodex of all the potential things that you think my wife could judge in 4-H. And I want you to tell me what you think she judges.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. It's place setting.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh so loud, so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a place setting competition in the 4-H sort of pentathlon. I don't know what they have. They have some sort of contest. There is a place setting competition, and there are rules. Okay.
Okay. I want to hear about every rule.
Okay. Hang on. 4-H place setting rules. 4-H place setting. Contest manual. Okay. There are entry
YouTube
rules.
Videos about this.
I'm sure.
4-H.
Well, I'm going to link to the manual because I just found a PDF. Table setting, place setting. I don't know. Apparently, there's a dress code. Hold on. 4-H members and Clover kids must wear 4-H dress or dress appropriate for their theme. That's what we're in for here, bud.
Apparently, it's also called competitive tablescaping.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Listeners, you thought there's a lot of places this podcast can go, but this is where we're going right now.
Okay.
All right, guidelines for creating your table setting. Number 1, select a theme. What is the occasion? A family dinner, holiday, or lunch with friends? Is this a casual or formal occasion? Select a theme which fits the occasion. Possibilities can run from a casual fishing party sack lunch to a formal Mother's Day dinner. Okay. Table appointments. These include any item used to set the table, tablecloth, placemats, dinnerware, etc. Table covering. Place setting. Okay, and there is what can only be described as something you would expect to see at a copyright diagram of all the different utensils and where they belong on the table.
That is, yep. I'm also looking at the PDF. That's exactly, you've described it correctly. Yep.
Okay. Centerpiece. The centerpiece should be coordinated with the table appointment and must be appropriate for the occasion. So you got to bring a lot of accoutrements to this particular thing. Like, I don't know, do you got like a load-bearing centerpiece? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lot. Okay. And then there's tips and reminders for setting a table. Tables should be clean. Table setting should be appropriate for the meals served. Menu planning. An appropriately planned menu should follow the dietary guidelines for Americans and My Plate. It's a general guideline. A meal should have at least 3 different food groups and help balance out what the body needs every day. Yeah, you just, I don't know, fry it up. Common errors in menu planning: color, too many foods of the same color; texture, too many soft foods, too many chewy foods, like a good crunch; preparation, types of food, temperature, flavor; writing the menu.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. you have to devise a menu, but you're not actually bringing any food. You just pretend like if you for pretend sat down at my pretend table, I would give you this pretend food. Or do you actually have to serve food?
No, I don't think you have to cook anything.
Okay.
I think that's a separate competition.
Okay.
Okay, writing the menus. Menus should be written symmetrical, and this hurts my brain. Menus should be written symmetrical arrangement on the page with the food listed in the order they are served, and every menu will not include all the foods listed here. Appetizer, main dish, starchy vegetable, other vegetable. Food should be grouped by courses. Descriptive terms should be used to give information about the temperature, texture, color, or blah, 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 blah. Beverages should be listed last. Dining etiquette. Place personal items in a place other than the table. Sit up straight. Okay, apparently you're sitting at the table when this is happening. I did not know that was... Hats and caps are to be removed upon entering a building. Ask for items to be passed rather than reach across the table. Table service while eating, finishing a meal. Being a good host, being a good guest, RSVP. Yeah, so we're going to put a link in the show notes to the Lincoln, Nebraska 4-H table setting or competitive tablescaping contest manual. And you can read that. Okay. So, long story short, right? After all that set up, my wife judges these competitive table settings at the Delaware County 4-H competition, which is part of the Delaware County Fair. Okay. Now I'm probably, let me put my wife is probably in her car right now yelling at the podcast machine because I'm probably saying things wrong. But I'm close enough. Okay. Like I have not exaggerated. I have not said anything intentionally wrong with the setup.
Okay.
So she had, I think it was 2 or 3 contestants this year, which is a little low because I think, with COVID and everything, I think attendance is a little bit down. And I think you have to be a very special type of person to enjoy this particular hobby. I am not.
Oh, no, that sounds awful.
Yeah, so I think you have to be a very special person who is maybe after certain merit badges or I don't know if this is something that you can tell your friends that you did, like you want to be the first kid on your block with a tablescaping trophy. I don't know, okay? I'm not here to get into the whys. I'm just here to get into the hows and how this all ties together. So the contest happens. They come in, they do their thing, they get judged. What had happened this year is two young people wound up with an identical perfect score in the competition.
Oh.
Okay. Now, there can really be only one winner in this particular scenario. So
Highlander rules, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are tiebreakers. They went to the first tiebreaker, and a clear winner was still not decided. Apparently, they both passed the tiebreaker, and then they went to a second tiebreaker, and apparently they both got that right. And like they found themselves in a situation where they had to pick one of these people to win, but they weren't sure which one they were going to pick.
Okay.
Now, I am not the world's best husband. Okay. I'm not. I'm not. Like I say that in front of podcasting God. Like I'm not the world's best husband. However, I have never been more proud of my wife.
My wife.
My wife with what happened next.
Okay.
So they have one trophy.
Mm-hmm.
They have one trophy, and both of these young contestants worked their asses off to be the best table setters they could be. And my wife took a step back and said, well, wait a minute. We only have one trophy, but what if we sponsored another trophy? And they said, well, what do you mean? And my wife says, well, how much does a trophy cost? Like, what would it take to get another trophy? And they said it was like $28. My wife said sold.
Okay.
So, Paul, I am happy to say that one of these young contestants is going to be receiving a trophy courtesy of doing their best for first place tie in competitive table setting of the Delaware County Fair 2021.
Oh, I've never been more proud of anything in my life.
Yeah, we did it, man. We've made it. We've totally done it.
Oh.
We've totally done it. I think it will say it on the trophy. And she had, listen, this 12-year-old has no idea.
And let's be honest, not age-appropriate content for
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh.
So, And she got this idea, by the way, from your football
Yeah.
program thing. Which did you ever do that, by the way?
We were too late.
Okay, well, anyway,
but next year, I think
next year we're gonna do it.
I think next year. I've also learned that there are trophy sponsorship opportunities. I think we just need to keep doing this.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna build a groundswell, right? We're gonna find obscure things to sponsor.
Yep.
So we're on the tip of everybody's tongue in obscure competitions. Yeah. So anyway, that was the biggest news of the show this week. So if you're out there and you need somebody to sponsor your weird obsession or your weird kink, we're here for you. Just send us an email at what's our email address? I don't know.
contact@doingtheirbest.com.
Yeah, send that over. You can also send the hate mail there if your son or daughter starts to listen to this show as a result of winning some sort of weird award.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. Yay. Well, congratulations to the Delaware Fair.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, Paul and I are very proud of you.
We're very proud of you. Yes.
We're very proud of you. Please tell your friends to listen to us. And we would love that very much. And you're welcome for the trophy. So.
Yep. Oh.
All right. It's your turn to talk for a little bit. So what's this next thing?
So a couple of things happened this week that kind of just combined into me wanting to make a public service announcement. One of them was I'm a semi-professional podcaster. I pay attention to industry news, and I saw this article basically saying that Spotify was poised to overtake Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts being the dominant force as far as the popular choice for podcast players, and they estimate that let's see, by the end of the year, Spotify will have 28.2 million monthly podcast listeners. Also, while I was out and about, one of our lovely besties showed me their phone, and it was a notification from Spotify saying a new episode of Doing Their Best is available.
Okay. Did you scold this person?
No, I did not scold this person. They're being indirectly scolded now.
All right.
My public service announcement is, for the love of just all that is good, please don't use Spotify for your podcasts. It's not a good podcast app. It's not good. It's not good. Don't do it. Yeah, I would recommend if you are on the Apple ecosystem, please check out Overcast. There'll be a link in the show notes. It is free. You can pay money to remove some ads. The ads are very tasteful. They're generally for other podcasts. They're not like big and obtrusive. It's also very privacy focused. So Overcast.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me stop you there. So as somebody who has, I have Overcast, I've got Spotify, I've got all those things, right? Just help me understand. I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but why is Spotify a scummy thing for podcasts? Because of the sponsored ones they do? Is that part of it, or?
First of all, it's not a very good. Yes. Okay. Spotify is trying to muscle their way into the podcast industry. They, I don't know, own Joe Rogan. I don't know, whatever. They are trying to get lots of exclusives. They don't always work. All of that aside, it's just not a very good podcast player. Hold on. Let's see. They for starters, it really doesn't support chapters, or I believe if there's any kind of chapter art, it does not display the show notes in a very well. I guess it's much better now. I would not call it a full featured podcast player. It is a music player that also has podcasts in it. Just for your own experience alone, try something like Overcast. Or if you're on the other side, or you are on Android and iOS, I've heard lots of good things about Pocket Casts. It's actually owned by the company that owns WordPress, Automatic. There's 2 T's in there. It's very weird. Just, you deserve to listen to our shitty podcast in a luxurious, well-crafted, well-thought, well-designed application. Things like one of my favorite features of Overcast is what is called, I think it's called Smart Speed, where it actually removes silences, even small imperceptible silences from reduces silences to kind of allow you to listen to podcasts a little bit faster without having to have people sound like the Chipmunks. Hold on, there's a wonderful little for me alone, Smart Speed has saved me 311 hours.
Wow. 311 whole hours.
Yes. So that's it. Just, use a better podcast player. Not Spotify.
Huh.
Please, not Spotify. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't listen to podcasts on Spotify at all. So
No.
it's not a problem I'm currently experiencing, but
Don't do it. Please.
yeah, please don't do it.
I know we're listed on Spotify. If I don't want people to listen on Spotify, I shouldn't have put us on Spotify. I know I'm bad. I'm a hypocrite. I mean, if it's Spotify or not listed at all, then I guess use Spotify. But I'm just saying, like, hey, just give another podcast player a try. You can find all of your, all the podcasts you want to listen to on there. You can support indie developers. You can support your independent podcasts. Just give something different a try.
Yeah, and if you were the person that we have just indirectly scolded, I want you to know your mother and I are very, very cross with you. Please don't use Spotify.
Oh.
Okay, since you've been talking a lot, I guess I'll talk for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the DBA formerly known as Drew Fergewell. I don't really work with SQL Server that much anymore. But you know what, man? I had to strap on my DBA pants this week, and I had to solve a database problem for the first time in about 2.5 years.
Ooh.
And Daddy still got it. So one of the things I do in my job is I come in and conduct training sessions for people who use products and services that are offered by my employer. And one of the areas that I've been spending a lot of time, and I think I've said this before, Paul, and I sort of owe this to you and friend of the show, Gene Pavel, genesface.com, that working with CI/CD pipelines and databases. And it's something that is hard, right? It's not like pushing traditional software bits out the door, because databases are pets, not cattle, in a lot of organizations. And
inherently full of state.
Yeah, and inherently full of state. It's a hard problem to solve from an IT operations standpoint, to continually affect change and deliver something like a database. And I could go on and on talking about migration-based models and state-based models and all sorts of things. And I thought we did a pretty good job of it when we all worked together, and that definitely set my table. There's a callback about how we do continuous integration and continuous delivery, continuous deployment with databases. And since coming to work where I work now, that is something that, because I have experience in that particular arena, I get to talk to a lot of different customers about doing CI/CD for all sorts of different data services, right? Both on premises, in the cloud, PaaS services, IaaS, you name it. So I do a lot of that. And I was teaching a class this week at a customer. Now, the particular class I'm teaching is really unique because it's basically a 2-part class where I come in and I talk about, like, here's why this kind of stuff is important. And then I do demos on, like, really oversimplified demos of some of the philosophies of managing CI/CD pipelines for databases. And my demos are kind of bullshit. Like, they just are. Listen, it's not necessary. It's conceptual. It's not designed to be, It's basically what you would find in a docs page and not what you find at all in real life. Okay. But when I teach this class, the second half of the class is we basically hunker down and I go over the shoulder with the people I'm teaching the class on, where we do a live POC in their environment. We choose a database that is in like dev, or they will clone a database and we will work on it, or they will use like an AdventureWorks or some sort of sample database to do the same thing. And before we get to the point where we teach the class and I'm sort of scoping it out, I talk to the customer and I say, listen, starting on day 2, you're going to need to make sure that we have access to a server, and, you want to choose a database where we want to do this POC in, and, so you can experience it yourself. And my recommendation is always, don't choose your biggest and baddest database, right? That it's been in production for like 20 years and is full of skeletons. Like, let's not do that one. Like, maybe use a newer one or a smaller one that, has user objects in it, and, we can kind of get buck wild with. But this particular customer chose to use a really big database that was full of stuff. Just
going right to the balls deep.
Just knuckle deep in this thing, hard in the paint. And we got in, and of course, if you've ever worked with CI/CD pipelines, you know that they never work right the first time you get them going. No, they never do.
No.
And we found ourselves in a really unique situation where we worked through importing the model into Visual Studio. We worked on building out a build pipeline that accepts a bunch of command line parameters to spit out a thing that you can then deploy to a target database. And everything was looking pretty good until we got to the actual release stage where we were pushing the bits to the target server. And we were getting a very, very strange error around some sort of trigger that existed in the database but did not exist in our database model. Now, quick step back. If this is not something you do very often, understand that when you're doing state-based deployments of SQL Server databases, the whole idea is that what is in your database pack has to be compared with what's in your database, and there are rules for, well, what if something is in your database but not in your DAC pack? Do we drop it? Do we keep it? Etc. If there's new things coming in, do those get created? Yada, yada, yada. And usually when I'm teaching this class, I never have them turn on the option that drops things that are not in source, because things could get weird with like constrained database users, and there's a whole bunch of gotchas with that. But I digress. So we were getting this weird error, and like I checked for database triggers, and I got in there and I started looking, and I just couldn't figure it out. And then what I ended up having them doing, we basically broke for the day on the second day, and we weren't done, which is fine because it's a 3-day class and we had more time the next day. So I sort of hunkered down on Tuesday night and gave it a good thunk. And I put my DBA hat back on, and I'm like, well, let me just write a quick little script here that drops all the triggers in the database, right? This is a dev database. It's not anything bad. And I'll also script everything out so we can put all the triggers back. So this particular database had 592 triggers.
Okay, that's a good number. Yep.
Pretty good number. So we dropped all the triggers in the database, and then they were like, well, do we put them back now? And I'm like, no, let's go ahead and deploy your code. It should deploy now. And because the triggers should have been scripted out, those triggers should come back onto your tables. And sure enough, they did.
But
except there were now 591.
That's not the same number.
It's not the same number, which gave me a big old fright, because that means, so we basically compared that 591 triggers against another database that we had cloned this from, and there was 592 triggers in that database. So we did a quick schema compare, and we found that there was a trigger in the database that we cloned from that was no longer in this other database that was referencing a table that no longer existed, which I didn't even think that was possible. So it was a neat little mystery. It was pretty good to put my DBA pants back on and get in there and figure it out. And customer was happy. I was happy. We accomplished everything we did and we needed to do in the class, and it was good. And I felt good about still being able to be the big DBA boy. Yeah, so I'm just kind of proud of myself.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, still got it. Got it in one. Okay, last topic for the podcast. I was reached out to by a friend of the show, Matt Bond, on Twitter. who is a huge Ghostbusters fan. Probably more than you or I. And he said, "What did you think of the new Ghostbusters movie?" And I said, "The one with the ladies in it." And he goes, "No, there's a new one coming out." And I was like, "Pardon?" I didn't even know that was a thing.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, were you aware of this?
I have seen the trailer.
Okay, so I watched the trailer. It's got everybody's favorite prepubescent teen who is now a pubescent teen. I think Finn Wolfhard. I think that's who's in it, right?
I have no idea who this dude is. So
he looks like young Kylo Ren. I'm pretty sure it's Finn Wolfhard, and there's other people that I don't know that are in it.
If only there was the magical tool where I could type in.
God damn it. Okay, fine. This is the best part of the show, where we type things.
This is the part of the show where, wow, IMDb has gotten really bad.
It's really bad, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard.
Okay, I don't know who that is. Finn.
He was the little boy in Stranger Things.
Oh, I didn't like that show.
Okay. The best part of the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer that I saw were the little mini Stay Puft, which I think they're going for a whole Baby Yoda thing here.
Yes, yep.
But
that's going to be a toy you can buy in stores.
Yep. And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters. Who I was trying to figure out here, because I don't see her on here. Who was the girl who was in Gone Girl? What's her name? God, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Up right now.
What's her name?
That would be, come on. Rosamund Pike?
Rosalind Pike, yes.
Okay.
In the trailers, I swear that's Rosalind Pike in the trailer, but I'm looking at the cast list.
It is not.
It is not. I can't figure out who that is. I cannot figure out who that is. It's a dead ringer for Rosalind Pike, and I am. Oh, buddy, I've got a lot of ammunition in the spank bank for Rosalind Pike, man. I am big dick energy for her. I love me some Rosalind Pike, so I was really excited that was her, but it's not her. Okay. Anyway, I didn't even realize this was a thing that was happening. And I feel like a big idiot because I'm a self-proclaimed Ghostbusters nut. I can quote most of the first movie. I don't like to pretend that the second movie happened because I don't think it's very good. Don't at me. I'm indifferent on the one they made with the lady Ghostbusters. It's fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, Ghostbusters is an IP that has to really bring it for me to like it, because, you know, I watched Ghostbusters when it first came out, and I thought it was funny, and it had Slimer in it, and he was cute, and it was gross, and I had a good time as a kid. And then I watched it again when I turned 17, and I'm like, this movie's really not for kids.
Oh,
and there's so much good humor in that, like.
It was well before I think PG-13 was a real rating.
Yeah. And like Bill Murray is just at the absolute top of his game, and like Dan Aykroyd and like all these people are just, god damn, man, like everybody's so good. Everybody's so good in that movie. And
guess what? They're all going to be in the new one.
Well, not
all of them, right?
Not all of them,
right.
Yeah, really sad. But anyway,
so the surviving members of the cast,
members of the cast will be in the movie.
Yes, even Sigourney Weaver, which
there's a character named Podcast.
I saw this. I was going to say Logan Kim as Podcast. Oh,
come on, guys. Like, I know you gotta make it like relevant, you know? I know you gotta do that, but come on, man. Come on, dude.
Not podcast host or, podcast guest.
Podcast. What else has Logan Kim been in? Man, look at that guy's got like a Blue Steel look going on. Logan Kim is an actor. Home movie, The Princess Excuse me?
What?
Home movie The Princess Bride. What does that even mean?
It's a serialized remake of The Princess Bride told in short chapters featuring celebrities at home during quarantine.
What? That's going in the show notes. Someone. All right. Challenge. Watch the Princess Bride home movie. The Princess Bride. If you are a listener, okay, all right, here it is. Ready? This is going to cost me $28. If you are a listener and you watch this movie, be the first to tweet at us with a picture of you, a selfie of you watching this movie, and I will send you a 4-H table setting trophy for best podcast boy and or girl.
Well, as luck would have it, Drew, I'm going to put the link in the show notes.
Okay. Yeah, if you're the first person to watch this, you will get a trophy from us. I am 100% dead serious about this.
It looks exactly as what they said. I would use the word celebrities in air quotes.
Who's in it? All right, we'll get back to Ghostbusters in a minute.
Hold on.
Cast. Oh, there's episodes.
Okay,
Cast.
so there's Rob Reiner. I know
Rob
him.
Reiner. Yeah. Who's this lady with the bikini with the covering up with her boobles with the hands? Who's she?
She said boobles.
Yeah, well,
Zazie. I don't know who she is. She was Domino.
She was Domino.
She was
Domino. Yeah. All right. Javier Bardem is in this. John Cho. I know him. Leslie Bibb. Okay, as Princess Buttercup. Bryan Cranston's in this. This might be. Is this good? Have we been goofing on this? Is this good? Is this good? Maybe. Angela from The Office. Is this good? Paul, we might be way off on this, bud.
We might be.
All right. Challenge still stands. Go get it.
Oh.
All right, anyway, back.
What? I have a Do you know where this originally first aired, Drew?
What? Where?
It aired on Quibi.
Tell people what Quibi is.
Quibi was
past tense.
So someone thought, hey, you know, people like Twitter and real short form content and TikTok and stuff like that. Let's make a Netflix, but all of our content is real short and people can watch it when they're on the go or standing in the line for the grocery store. And they released something that was intended to be used when you're out of the house during the pandemic.
Wow.
It didn't do very well.
No, it didn't do good at all.
No,
didn't do good at all.
In fact, I believe they're already out of business, and I believe Roku bought all their content.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. Well, it's on YouTube now, apparently. Oh boy. Okay. Focus. Back to Ghostbusters. So what's your temperature on this?
I'm gonna watch it. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. I have a funny feeling it's going to be just a shameless nostalgia grab. Look, these are the characters you knew before, and look, they're doing that same thing again. Oh, look, they're busting them ghosts.
Yep. Busting makes me feel good.
But you know what? Then again, Dan Aykroyd is one of the writers, it looks like, so it could be good.
It could be good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the people that are credited here, and this might not be bad. It comes out over Thanksgiving. If you go to the if you go to the Ghostbusters.com website and click on recipes.
Oh.
Mini puffed marshmallow s'mores.
Okay.
There can only be described what looks like a deflated Stay Puffed person on top of some really sad-looking graham crackers. Yes. And there is no chocolate on these s'mores. Therefore, I can conclude this movie is trash. The end.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Yeah, welcome to my TED Talk. If your s'mores don't have chocolate, they're not s'mores. You can't have s'mores without chocolate. What are you doing with your life?
There's another recipe. If you click on next recipe, it's literally that same sad looking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on a stick with fruit.
Marshmallow skewers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are the only 2 recipes.
There are 2 recipes. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some marshmallows. Put marshmallows on stuff.
Edible blue ink pen. Well, really, this is one of the ingredients. Really, isn't any ink pen edible if you're brave enough?
Oh, you know what? I think what they mean is an ink pen that has edible ink. It's a very unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate thing to put in your recipe. You're not gonna. Yeah, I mean, a pen will blend, but I don't think it should. So. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes 1 serving. 1 serving. Go buy all this fruit and use 1 skewer. You fatty. Shove all this fruit in your mouth.
Oh
my God. Shop. What do we got in the shop? Okay, we got some figurines here. Probably spoiler alert. If you got figurines for people who aren't in the trailer, you got a Stay Puft. Bib.
Yep.
Face mask. Ecto 1 enamel pin. Mm-hmm. Yep. We love this day. We're excited to be a part of it. Home decor, stationery, Slimer journal, and a bunch of stickers that say Zool. Okay, I'm deep in retail hell at this point. Get the app, because everything has an app. Synopsis. From director Jason Reitman and producer Ivan Reitman comes the next chapter in the original Ghostbusters universe. In Ghostbusters Afterlife, when a single mom and her 2 kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. The film was written by Jason Reitman and Gil Keenan. Gil Keenan? Okay.
So Dan Aykroyd's not involved. They just credited him because he wrote the original movie.
He's an executive producer.
Yes.
Which I think is like an honor, which is an honorific.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to be optimistic.
I am.
Ooh, play game.
Yeah, I'm on. I tried clicking on that too, and by the way, it just destroyed my Safari instance. Just destroyed it.
Okay.
It could be good. It could be good. We'll see. I mean, yeah. Who knows?
So Matt, I hope that answers your question.
Thanks for listening, Mr. Bond.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Mr. Matt Bond. We appreciate you. I haven't been in a movie theater well before COVID was a thing, and I don't know if this is the movie that drags me back, but I want to believe. So I will probably go see it. I think that this might hit all the high notes, and if it's got Bill Murray in it and Bill Murray's doing Bill Murray things, I don't see how it could be a waste of my time.
Real quick, just super quick question. Obviously you've watched The Sopranos?
No.
Oh, you've never watched The Sopranos. So then my next question is invalid. So
well, bring it, because I mean, I have been in like various hotel rooms. I've been like Sopranos adjacent, like where I've watched it and I know that mobster bad, therapist hot. Like I get it. Like I get it. I think I know what the show's about. But anyway, go ahead.
The show was very good. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about the movie, the Many Saints of New York, or Newark, Many Saints of Newark.
Mm-hmm.
That is coming out soon. I think a couple weeks.
Is it an actual movie, or is it going to be on a streaming service?
It's an actual movie. It's going to be in theaters and on HBO. HBO Now, whatever they're calling it these days.
Well, let me turn it right back on you then. Or you must be a Sopranos fan.
I have just recently, within the last like 6 months or so, finished my first watch through of it. I didn't watch it when it first came out. It's amazing show, absolutely amazing. Just,
you know, every time I get up on my high ass horse and I talk about The Wire, everybody's like, well, you should watch The Sopranos, you should watch Breaking Bad. I'm like, no, fuck you. The Wire's the best show ever. But I think that The Sopranos probably rightly deserves to be up in sort of that rarefied. And first of all, never mention Dexter to me when I'm talking about The Wire. If you mention Dexter to me, I will take a giant shit in your mouth. Don't ever mention that show to me, because that show is trash. But yeah, I get it. I mean, The Sopranos, I think, is a good show. Like I would definitely put it in probably one of the best series of all times. But like, if you're that kind of person that's like, I really like Lost, like, shut up and get out of my life. I don't ever want to talk to you.
I mean, Sopranos isn't for everybody. It is, hella violent. One of the major set pieces in the entire series is a strip club.
The Bada Bing.
The Bada Bing. But it's good. It's good. It's full of horrible people. And they somehow manage
horribly broken people.
Yeah, and somehow they make you sympathize with some of them. Yeah, it's good. Good show. Anywho, they're making a movie about Tony Soprano's the main character. They're making a movie about him when he was younger. The lead actor is actually the son of the actor who played Tony Soprano. So cool little connection there. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
So you're gonna see it. That's a watch for you.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm adjacent to it. I don't think I'll watch it, but you'll have to come out and talk about it.
Yep.
Okay, let's get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, we're on the internet, doingbest.com. You can catch us on Twitter at doingbestpod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. Where can we find you, Drew?
Twitter at Pittsburgh, Pittfurg.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.